Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we will have highlights from last night's State of the Commonwealth address. Plus, in the Commonwealth of Virginia, another lawmaker is now involved in the growing controversy there. And staying alive, a bankruptcy judge gives a struggling retailer another chance to try and keep their business afloat.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 5:30 on Friday, February the 8th. I'm Will Puckett. Brandon, we're talking about staying alive, and as we wake up this morning, people are going to recognize that winter is doing just that. It's reared its ugly little head again, and it's going to be cold for the next couple of days.
You know, the popular TV show Game of Thrones, winter is coming, winter is back. So it's going to be around for this weekend, and maybe a little bit of a warm-up as we head into next week. Let's take a look at the satellite radar for the last few hours, and you can see cold front slowly chugging along, but it is starting to push out of the region, and we're going to continue to see that throughout the morning hours. Already seeing some clearing skies in parts of central Kentucky. Temperatures, there's the contrast this morning. 32 Somerset, 45 in Logan. Everybody falling quickly as the front goes by, but the good news is most of the moisture is already gone. Wind speeds, though, they're not gone. They're still cranking out of the west there, and we're going to continue to see those as we head through the daytime hours as the cold front continues to pass. Temperatures will fall. Rain will end here in a little while, and then we'll see those conditions improve quickly as sunshine is around by late this afternoon and temperatures stabilize in the mid-30s. The rest of the forecast on the way here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Love the Game of Thrones reference. Well, Governor Matt Bevin gave his fourth State of the Commonwealth address last night. Angela Reigert has the highlights from the House chamber.
Governor Matt Bevin delivering his last State of the Commonwealth address in his first term before a joint session of the Kentucky House and Senate.
The state of the Commonwealth is strong, very strong. We have much to celebrate tonight.
Bevin, who is seeking re-election, touted what he believes are accomplishments under his leadership.
We've seen 49,870 jobs created, new jobs in Kentucky.
He drew special attention to Senate Bill 1, the school safety bill.
Thank you personally on behalf of these families, on behalf of every student and every teacher and every administrator and every parent in Kentucky.
The governor took only a moment to touch on pensions, saying it's obvious more work needs to be done, but he is proud of the legislature funding annual payments for pension.
This is the first administration, supported in turn by legislation that came out of this body, that has ever funded 100% of the ARC, ever.
Bevin then pointing to pro-life legislation, praising what's been passed, even though there are some that are having to be defended in court. Some stood in a show of support, while others notably stayed seated. While there was frequent applause during the governor's speech after, we talked with some top Democrats, some who are running for governor in 2019, who tell us they were less than impressed.
The Constitution provides a choice that I believe is between a woman and her doctor for at least the first 2 trimesters of pregnancy, and I'm going to enforce that constitutional right.
When you talk about economic prosperity, I would question some of his numbers and some of the things he said. There's certain parts of this Commonwealth that are doing very, very well, and there's other parts of this Commonwealth that economic prosperity has not happened in.
It sounded like he was calling for unity, but you've got to do more than just call for unity when you come in front of the legislature. You're going to have to actually show for the next few weeks that you're willing to work with the legislature that you haven't talked to for the last 2 years.
Angela Reigert, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, also in Frankfort, a bill on medical marijuana has passed the first hurdle on Thursday. The bill would ask the federal government to speed up research. House Concurrent Resolution 5 calls for more research on the benefits and risks of medical marijuana. Lawmakers say they want more info to make their decision on other marijuana policies. The bill now goes to the House floor. Well, it's a parent's worst nightmare, getting a phone call that your child will not be coming home from school. That's the reality for the parents of Bailey Holt and Preston Cope. Both were killed in a shooting last year inside Marshall County High School. Yesterday, their parents continued their fight to keep other families from experiencing the same tragedy. They are backing Senate Bill 1, designed to improve school safety across the Commonwealth. Hillary Thornton has more on the bill.
Nothing will ever fix what happened to these families. Nothing will bring their kids back. The best we can do is to do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again.
An emotional Senator Danny Carroll introducing two families from his home of Marshall County, both experiencing unexplainable loss about 1 year ago.
It's a call that no parent needs to receive.
January 23rd, 2018 is a day Jason and Secret Holt and Brian and Teresa Cope say they relive every single day.
I feel that God is using this evil that happened to Bailey and Preston and somehow turning that into good.
Part of that good, they believe, is through Senate Bill 1, sharing their story in hopes of creating a safer future for children throughout the state. If passed into law, creating a state school security marshal to make sure everyone is in compliance and following good practices. It would also improve the training of school resource officers and require certain personnel to have annual active shooter training. Additionally, implementing more school resource officers and mental health professionals.
Everyone involved in this discussion agrees that there is a big question mark looming over how exactly they will fund everything this bill is calling for. The parents say, simply put, they must find a way.
I'm counting on you guys.
We can go through and protect our government buildings, our airports, our sports stadiums. Why are we not protecting our kids? They're more important than anything. This is the future of our state, our country.
In Frankfort, Hillary Thornton, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, the bill committee did vote to move the bill on with some minor changes. It will be heard by the full Senate later today. Well, emergency regulations signed by Governor Matt Bevin earlier this year may have violated state statutes. That's according to an opinion issued yesterday by the Attorney General's office. The emergency order limited the public's access to the Capitol. The Attorney General's office says there was no, quote, imminent threat that would have made the changes necessary. It also could lead to the violation of the Kentucky Open Meetings Act. Well, the political fallout in Virginia grew again Thursday. Republican State Senate Majority Leader Tommy Norman is under fire for his role as managing editor of the Virginia Military Institute's 1968 yearbook. The book contains racist slurs and photos, including blackface.
My responsibility had nothing to do with photographs. It had nothing to do with editing what was written in there.
Norman condemned the use of blackface, but also condemned his opponents for wanting to engulf Republican leaders in the ongoing saga. Late Thursday, U.S. Senate and congressional lawmakers from Virginia released a joint statement calling for Governor Northam to resign and said Attorney General Herring must, quote, stand ready to answer questions from the public if he is to regain their trust. Well, back here at home, a Clay County man dies after being hit by a pickup truck while riding his bike along US 421 in the Burning Springs community. Troopers say the driver of the truck, Crystal Lunsford, was cited for driving her vehicle with a suspended license and later given a sobriety test. Police say Lunsford was not under the influence, and the case is being taken to the Clay County Grand Jury. Trooper Lloyd Cochran says several people walking and riding after dark have died for the same reason.
Well, this is the third or fourth fatality we've had involving pedestrians or cyclists in eastern Kentucky this week alone.
Randall Eversole was taken to the Manchester Advent Health Hospital for treatment before he died. Now, staying in Clay County, we learned the name of a man killed in a crash there Tuesday. Police say 72-year-old Ronald Metcalf died in that accident. Investigators say it happened when a minivan and Jeep Wrangler collided on US 421. No charges were filed. Well, we know the name of the man killed in a deadly crash in Whitley County. The crash happened Wednesday morning on Kentucky 92 near the McCreary County line. Police say an armored truck ran off the roadway and overturned. The driver, who has been identified as 59-year-old John Adkins, was killed in the crash. A passenger in the truck was also injured. Well, a school bus driver is recovering after an accident and argument led to a shooting on a Minneapolis interstate Tuesday. Now that suspected shooter is in custody. Police say the two vehicles got into a fender bender before shots rang out on the interstate. Witnesses called 911. A road is back open after crews closed it to battle a house fire. The Keavy Volunteer Fire Department posted this picture on Facebook. Several fire departments were at the home on US 25 in Laurel County, not far from I-75. The Lilly Fire Department reported the road opened back up just after noon. One family will wait for their loved one's accused killer to head to trial. Elwood 6 faces a manslaughter charge. Investigators say he killed Rodney Stepp in 2017. He was supposed to go to trial in March, but a judge delayed that until June 17th. A Knox County grand jury indicts a man on 4 counts in relation to child sex crimes. In September, police said Jerry Lee Smith used Facebook Messenger to have sexual conversations with the disabled 11-year-old girl. Troopers say Smith exchanged inappropriate pictures with the girl. At 5:50 coming up, the Plugged In crew will review a movie hitting your local theater this weekend.
We're finally getting a break from the rain, but now the cold is back. We just can't win, can we? I'll tell you the latest details in about a few minutes.